This week, several new batches of stimulus checks are set to go out to eligible Americans this week. And if you're expecting and experiencing financial struggles, you may be able to take action and apply the relief. Direct payments worth as much as $1,000 have already begun being approved. Today, the residents in Virginia who are receiving money from a guaranteed income program are receiving the next check of $500. This recurring income for success and equity program pays 170 residents in the city $500 on the first day of every month. It is being funded by the American Rescue Plan Act. In order to apply for the program, an applicant needed to be a resident of Alexandria, Virginia, and be at least 18 years or older. The applicant also had to have an income at or below 50% of the area's median income, which varied depending on how many people lived in an income's household. A guaranteed income program for recipients in the state of New Jersey has also issued its next payment. The payment will be worth $250, and it will go out to 200 out of the 400 recipients of the Newark Movement for Economic Equity program. Half the recipients receive smaller payments twice a month, and the other half recipients receive larger payments once every 6 months. According to officials, 41% of residents in the program spend the money they receive at retail stores to buy clothing, food, and necessities, while 26% spend their funds at grocery stores. There are only 2 days left to apply for a guaranteed income program that will provide monthly payments of $1,000 for 2 years or less in LA County. The program will select recipients who are former foster children to receive the payments over 2 years. The application period opened on June 20th and will close next week on July 3rd. Other requirements include having a household income at or below 100% of the area median income for a single-person household, and they also must have been negatively affected by the crisis. Now, borrowers led down by the U.S. Supreme Court against the President's student loan forgiveness program still must prepare to make their payments again. The Biden administration is hoping to make that easier. The highest court struck down the up to $20,000 in debt cancellation that Joe Biden announced last year. On top of that, an estimated 40 million borrowers who had their payments paused during the crisis will get it back. In response, the Biden administration announced some new moves to ease borrowers into repayment and to offer another avenue for debt forgiveness. Borrowers should be aware of other debt relief programs that Joe Biden is trying to make, but as part of the debt ceiling deal that the White House struck with the House Speaker, the federal student loan payments that were paused during the crisis will actually restart again, and that means borrowers need to prepare to make these payments again. According to Yahoo News, borrowers should go to the Federal Student Aid website to find out who their loan servicer is and what their payment is going to amount to. Auto debit payments likely will not restart until automatically for most borrowers, so people should opt in to confirm their auto debit enrollment before payments even restart. Even the Federal Student Loan Aid recommends that borrowers to use its loan simulator tool to find out their financial needs and what program is going to work.
Recover academically and to address mental health crisis facing so many of our young people as a consequence of the pandemic. We're going to be talking about the pandemic, those who succeed us, for a long time. It had profound impact, and it had negative impacts, and we're working like hell to make it to overcome it. Compared with before the pandemic, the number of school nurses is now up 22%. The number of school social workers is up 43%. But we're just getting started. You know, we expect teachers to solve every problem. We need to provide access to preschool for 3- and 4-year-olds so they get the classroom ready to learn. And by the way, recent studies have indicated that if you start school, not daycare, school at 3 years old, no matter what your background is, no matter what home you come from, you have an incredible opportunity. You all know all the data and statistics that a kid going from a broken home in a tough circumstance is going to hear 1 million fewer words spoken by the time they get to first grade. Or they're going to find themselves in a situation where their vocabulary is considerably less. Since I took office, we've added 100,000 public school teachers. We're going to continue working to address the teacher shortage. It's critical. No, really, this is a national security issue. It starts with paying teachers and educators what they're worth. We're making it easier for teachers. You got it, kid. That's why I know how to say not labor, but you.
Inflation-related bump may convince some retirees into tapping their benefits early, before they even reach the full retirement age. Because according to the Social Security Administration, the cost of living adjustment will just boost the average retiree's monthly payment by $150 to $1,900 next year. A policy analyst already said that an advocacy group for 70 million retirees, disabled people, and others, that the increase will just simply help them catch up to inflation. They hit a 40-year high of 10% earlier this year. The Social Security Administration already said that the Social Security is the most successful anti-poverty program in the country. Now, when President Roosevelt signed the Security Act into law, it helped so many people and was a retirement program for workers. It was just part of a historic New Deal, and the first lump sum payments were made in 1937. But now, in 2022, according to the National Academy of Social Insurance, today's workers pay Social Security taxes into the program, and the money is dispersed as monthly income to beneficiaries in a pay-as-you-go system. 1 in 5 Americans receive the benefits, including more than 47 million retired workers and dependents, 10 million disabled workers and dependents, and 6 million survivors of deceased workers. According to a new report, almost all Americans shall wait beyond the age of 65 just to claim their full Social Security benefits, with more than 90% should not hold out until 70 when they get even more, but only 10% wait until 7 years old. So the advice comes as Americans live longer and face a retirement that could last more years than expected. Let's say you turn 62 in 2022, your full retirement age is 67, and your early benefits can start being at 65, but that's $1,000 a month if you claim it at that age. Now, some Social Security recipients will get an additional $2,400 a year in benefits. That's if a new bill recently introduced in Congress gets approved. So I'm just hoping that President Biden does what he promised to the American people. And we all know what that means. Stimulus payments and stimulus payments to people that need it the most. Because that's what happens, folks. President Biden needs to give it to the people that need stimulus checks the most. We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check and Social Security benefits. Folks, there's a ton of news that you have to know. You will see your monthly benefit check cut because changes are coming to Social Security. And now, you might be seeing some negatively effective, some Social Security recipients and retirees' checks will be negatively affected by this move. Social Security already moved more than 26 million Americans out of poverty, but according to the Census Bureau, it made it more important, and now, the aging population coupled with declining birth rates and has also created a program. Now, Social Security's $1 trillion shortfall over the next 75 years in the trust fund is already on pace to be depleted by 2035. Now, at that point, the Board of Trustees says income from payroll taxes will only cover about 80% of scheduled benefits, and that figure will drop to 74% by 2096. Of course, government officials are well aware of the problem. The Board of Trustees has been forecasting the demise of the trust fund since the 80s. A recent survey from the University of Maryland indicates that certain proposed changes, everybody, just to Social Security alone, will enjoy bipartisan support among Americans. What this means is that two proposed changes